All right, what's up, everybody? How are we doing today? And welcome. It is time for, what are we calling it? The World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling. How is everybody doing out there today? Are we excited to see some more of these great matchups? I know I am definitely pumped to see some more of these great matchups. So let's take a look here at what's going on in our chat. Hello. Had to do a little housekeeping there, a little cleanup of the old background curtains, you know. Got to keep things looking pro here at Model Monday Live. Alrighty. Let's take a look here. Let's see who's in the chat today. Give some quick shout outs while we're getting everybody pumped up for this tournament. Let me know, of course, as always, how the audio is. It looks like it's a little bit low. Let me see if I can do anything to give myself a little more gain here. Test. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. It looks like it's perfect. What am I saying? Probably just blasted you guys. Blew up your eardrums. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So what's up? We got a lot of people here in the chat today. I'm so excited to see everybody. I see my good friend Anti-Venom is here in the chat. Anti-Venom is going to be in the tournament a little bit later on. He's going to be down in the lower red bracket. Let's see who else we got in here. All right, Andres is here again. Well, what's up? Welcome back. Andres was in our tournament last week representing Onshape, so welcome back. And Maaz is here. He says, let me in the meeting. You're in, bro. You're in. We're good. A lot of people here who are going to be in the tournament later. Awesome. Welcome. Brad is here. Eric, Beatty, SolidWorks, world-renowned community influencer, master modeler extraordinaire. I'm not even sure how many different titles I can give you, Eric, but you are amazing. Welcome. Alrighty. I apologize for anybody who I missed, but we'll definitely try to get through and give shout-outs to everyone. Mark H says, are there any differences in the mass calculator between Onshape and SolidWorks? Or is the calculation based on material density exact across all different CAD programs? Should be pretty darn close. There definitely is a little bit of tolerance, but it should be pretty darn close, and I think that's a great question, Mark. It should be pretty darn close to being uniform across all CAD systems, because we're not going out to like 8 different decimal places where we get into differences in the way the kernel is actually like calculating different shape managers. You know, we're far enough out. Plus, I throw a little bit of tolerance on the prints, so it should be pretty close. You know, and that's kind of the beauty of this tournament, is that we can have people in here from different CAD systems competing against one another, sharing their screens, you know, matching up against each other during Model Monday Live when we do this weekly during the live stream, or semi-weekly, mostly weekly. Sometimes I need a little bit of a break to get all my, my other obligations in order. So I'm sure you guys all understand how that is. And Ian says, you sound great, Toby. Well, thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. That's what I need. Alrighty. And JD52WTF says, I'll take a shout out. All right. Shout out to my man, JD52WTF. What's up, Samoa from Italy? Okay, awesome. Well, if you came all the way here from Italy, I think you're probably ready to see some CAD versus CAD speed modeling. So let's get into it here. Today is Saturday, August 27th. We got 4 amazing competitors today. We got Victor representing SolidWorks. We got Tank representing SolidWorks. We got Maaz representing SolidWorks. And we got Alnis representing Onshape. I say representing, I really just mean using, right? Not like an official representative or anything. So let's get on here to our amazing competition today, our 3D CAD speed modeling tournament. This was a tournament where we had 32 people sign up, plus 10 additional people on the waiting list. And we've had a few people drop out from that original 32, so I'm glad we put together the waiting list. Huge shout out to my production team who's helped me keep everything in order. And so we've been able to smoothly fill in people when other people have dropped out. And I thank you all very much who did sign up on that waiting list. It's exciting to see people still able to get into the tournament. And we've got 12 different countries that registered for this tournament. And we have 5 different CAD systems that people are using in this tournament this time around. So pretty exciting stuff, and hopefully a chance for you to maybe see a CAD system that you normally wouldn't have a chance to see. So this is what that tournament bracket looks like, all the different countries that are being represented here. Still a few more available changes that need to be made. There's actually a couple of things on here, a couple of people who did drop out who have been replaced. So we'll be sure to get that updated for next week. But what we saw last week was down here in the red bracket, we saw Neil Custard go up against Rafi. Oh, let me go back there. We saw Neil Custard go up against Rafi Rahman. That was on August 20th, and Neil was able to secure a victory. He lost the first match, but then he won the next two because it is a best of three. So Neil is going to be coming back on October 29th. And then we also saw in the mustard-colored bracket, we saw Tom Smith go up against the Smart Colombian, and Tom was able to take that in a sweep. So he won 2 matches in a row, and he's going to move on and compete again on October 29th in the round of 16 as well. So very exciting developments that are happening here in this tournament, and we are just cruising through this thing. Next week, we're going to see Debris Field go against Ricardo J, and we are also going to see Yaya go against Mayville, and we're going to see a new CAD system next week, Key Creator, which is an evolution of CAD Key. So if you ever remember old CAD Key, I'm excited to see what this new evolution of CAD Key looks like. So that's going to be next week, Saturday, September 3rd at the same time. And if you're around, I hope that you will tune in. And, of course, if you want to help the channel, if you're tuned in right now, I see there's 32 people watching right now. Be sure to hit that like button. I'm going to go over to my monitoring computer and hit the like button right now. Let's see here. There we go. I see the numbers going up there. That's awesome. That's a little hack if you ever do a YouTube live stream. You could watch it from your phone and you can like it from there. Yeah, if you're watching right now, be sure to like, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to share and reshare this. If you watch one of these matches and you're like, this is really cool, grab the timestamp, share and reshare it. When the matches are done, I try to go through and timestamp everything so it's easy for people to log in and kind of jump around and see what's going on with the live stream. And, of course, be sure to join the mailing list over at TooTallToby.com. When you go to TooTallToby.com, you can, on the main page, just go down to the bottom and join the mailing list. And I do want to let you know that both Super Thanks and Super Chat are open. So if you want to support the channel, you can use a credit card. You can send me a special message in Super Chat. So right in the chat, there's a little $ symbol that you can use, and you can send in a super message, and your message will be highlighted, and I'll be sure to read it. But more importantly, that goes towards supporting the channel and helping to make sure that all this cool tips and tricks and tournaments and things like this can keep going. Hopefully forever, for as long as we can sustain, that's for sure. And every little bit helps with that. So be sure to take advantage of that super thanks if you're watching the replay. Be sure to take advantage of that super chat if you're watching live. And with that, let's get into it. How does this tournament work? This tournament is a speed modeling challenge where I am going to show our competitors a sample 2D print, and they are going to turn it into a 3D CAD model. And they're going to try to calculate the mass of that model, and they're going to enter that mass in the YouTube chat. So whoever is able to come up with that mass first and enters that mass in the YouTube chat will be declared the winner. And the rules of the tournament that are a little different from what we normally do during the live stream, because we do this during the same thing during the live stream, the rules of the tournament are that this is a best of 3 matchups. So next to each competitor, you'll see a little wins indicator, and when you win your first match, you'll get a little green light, and if you win your second match, you will finish that matchup, and you will move on to the next bracket, and unfortunately, your competitor will fall, and we'll have to try again in the next tournament. You're allowed to submit 1 incorrect answer during the tournament. So you're allowed to, grab the mass, put it in the chat. If it's wrong, I will say, I'm sorry. Sorry, Tom Smith. That is an incorrect value, and what you need to do is, look at your work, look at the drawing, see if you missed a dimension, see if you missed a feature, and then you can submit an answer again. But if you get it wrong again, you're out. And then it's basically up to your opponent to lose. They can submit their first wrong answer, submit their second wrong answer, and if they don't get it right either, then it's a wash, and we'll go to an extra match. But it will be up to them. So you get 1 chance to do a wrong answer, and then after that, that's it. And then finally, I just want to say, if you're watching from home, if you're watching from your computer, and you want to play along with this tournament, feel free to grab a screen capture yourself. I'm going to show the competitors the 2D print. You can use Snippet or Snagit or you know whatever you want to use to MW Snap, whatever you want to use to grab the screen capture, and you can model up the part yourself. But just do not help. And what I mean is, don't post your answer in the chat. Don't post the mass in the chat, and don't type to the competitors and say, oh hey, you missed this fillet, or you should have used a shell there, or you should do that as a revolve. Don't help them today. Really, these guys are the star of the show. So let's let them shine, and let's not get in there and spoil it. And I'll try to keep an eye on the chat to make sure there's none of that going on. But I just appreciate if you guys, get behind me on this one and let these guys really shine. All right, so with that, let's get into our first matchup here. We're going to go up into the black bracket. And when we go up into the black bracket, we're going to see that our matchup today is going to take place between Victor and Tank. Today is August 27th, so our first matchup is going to be between Victor and Tank. And we can see here that Victor has been using SolidWorks for 8 years, and he currently works for a 3D scanning firm. And Tank has been using SolidWorks for 15 years. So we got an 8-year user versus a 15-year user. And Tank is also a part-time concert producer. It's in the music industry, as well as being in the 3D CAD industry, and of course being an amazing users group leader. So we got a lot going on with this matchup. I'm excited to see what happens, and I wanted to make sure that we waited until Jason O got here, and I see that he did get here. So I think we're now officially ready to start. I'm glad that you made it here today, Jason, and welcome to the party. All right, guys. So with that, what we're going to do here is I'm going to flip over to a full screen view. Full screen view here. And in just a moment, I'm going to show the 2D print. And when I do show the 2D print, the tournament is officially live, and our competitors, Tank and Victor, are going to grab a screen capture of that 2D print, and they are going to immediately begin trying to turn that into a 3D model. They're gonna both begin a new part, and they're gonna turn that into a 3D model. And as soon as I see them working, we're gonna flip over to their screen, and we're gonna see them building this model. So here we go. Our first challenge goes live in 3, 2, 1, go. So here we go. What is the mass of this part in x.xxx pounds? We're doing one in IPS here, guys. I know you guys love IPS, so everybody always asks for IPS. So here we go. What is the mass of this part in 0.x.xxx pounds with a tolerance of 0.002? And I see both our competitors are going, so let's flip over to their screens. We see Victor on the left using the traditional lighter theme. Looks like he's got the selection manager down at the bottom of the screen. We see Tank on the right using the dark theme. And we can see the part that they're trying to build here. It's kind of like a cylindrical part with, looks like a little rail going down the middle, something like that. And it looks like Victor on the left has decided to start out by creating a sketch of one end and doing an extrude. And it looks like Tank is doing the same thing, starting out with that sketch on the end and probably going to turn that into an extrude. We see Victor decided to go with those chamfers at the end right away as well. That's an interesting approach. Usually I'll save my chamfers for the end of the model, but he decided to do them early on. Let's see if that pays off for him. We can see Victor going through using the Smart Dimension feature to make sure that his sketches are fully defined, or at least outside of the boundary of the model. We can see Tank here getting into this first extrusion. Looks like Tank's used to making much smaller parts because of how he had his increments set up for that extrusion depth. We can see Victor going through, making sure that this rail feature is centered. Trying to create the geometry for that rail feature that's going up through the center of the model. And we see Tank on the right creating the that end. It's almost like an opening, kind of like a slotted opening there to open up that part. You got to go down through the middle. That's the cool thing about a modeler like SolidWorks. You kind of start out one feature at a time and just little by little chip away at that model until you've got, the entire model not only looking like the original design, but also, exactly to the correct dimensions. And in the case of this challenge, that's going to make sure that you get the mass correct. And we see Victor just flying through this model. I'm glad that I'm not going up against him because he is really cruising through this thing. going around looking at the print, making sure that he's got all the features. That's what we call the final spin that we just saw Victor doing. He's kind of looking over the model, making sure that it looks like the print, making sure that he's got all the features. Oh, jumping into the S key and using the mask properties in the S key. That was a pretty pro move. I gotta say, I like that one. And if we look at the chat, we can see that in the chat, Victor has entered an answer of 1.591 pounds, and that is the correct answer. So congratulations to Victor. He's going to lock down the first win of this matchup. So we're going to give him a little win indicator in the upper left. And if you guys don't mind, go into the chat and give both Victor and Tank a GG for getting things started there. I know there are definitely some nerves going when you're first getting going in these tournaments, and I think they both did an awesome job. So GG to the winner, but really GG to both of our competitors. Nicely done to both Tank and Victor. And congratulations to Victor for securing that win. And wow, that was really, really fast, I gotta say. You definitely modeled that faster than I was modeling it when I was auditing the drawings. So nicely done to Victor. And man, woo! GG. Everybody make sure you give them a GG in the chat. Be sure to, if you're just tuning in, be sure to like. If that doesn't earn a like, I don't know what will. That was pretty epic and pretty darn fast modeling from both of our competitors. So very nicely done. Let's learn a little bit more about these competitors here as we're giving GGs here to Victor and to Tank. So Victor's been using SolidWorks for 8 years, currently working with a 3D scanning firm. 6 years of SolidWorks working with Formula SAE. Whoa, nice. And has worked on 5 different 3D printer projects at once. Okay, I like that. I can get on board with that. And also has a hard time finishing projects, but has no problem starting new ones. Oh, man. Guys, if you're in the chat and you suffer that same problem, put a 1 in the chat. Because I know that I definitely have that same problem where when it comes to having a hard time finishing projects, but no problem starting new ones, yeah, I'm definitely in that boat. And over on the right side, we got Tank. Tank is a 15-year SolidWorks user, part-time concert producer, also a long-distance motorcycle rider, and an electrical engineering student at Arizona State. Wow, that is awesome. So he's continuing to expand his toolbox, learning more and more about different areas of engineering, in this case, electrical engineering. That is awesome and admirable. All right, guys, I'm going to just set up the next round. So if you guys want to chat amongst yourselves, if you have any questions for our competitors, if you have any questions for me, let me know. And I will just be a moment here getting this next challenge set up. I just got to real quick go in and create the model in the drawing. Just kidding. All right, here we go. And make sure that this looks good. Oh, I think that looks really good. Oh, man, I can't wait for you guys to see this one. Oh, you know what? My overlay is wrong, huh? I got the, still got James showing as the co-commentary. Well, I'll fix that while we're... Wait, do I have the other one here? Stand by 1 second, guys. Just want to make sure that my overlay is the correct one. And I think that overlay should be this one. Yeah, fixed. Boom. Here we go. Make sure this is good. Okay. Victor says, snuck into Ivanx place there for you. Yeah, I kind of noticed the one. I didn't see the second one. I saw the first one. Or maybe it was the second one. I don't know. All right, guys. I think our competitors are both ready. They both have their screen set to blank. So I think we're going to show the next challenge here. Going to shake off any of those nerves, and we're going to get going here with our next challenge. As soon as I show the print, the challenge is live. And here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? Tolerance plus or minus 1 gram. Material plain carbon steel. Density 7,800 kilograms per cubic meter. So our competitors are now grabbing that 2D print so that they can get in and begin modeling. And it looks like they're both getting started. So let me flip over to our full screen, our CAD vs. CAD screen. Here we go. Once again, we see Victor on the left creating this model. We see Tank on the right. Looks like they're both interesting, both taking a very similar approach. I like it. 2 different CAD experts looking at the same model, and they're both kind of like, starting plane, starting profile. This is what we always talk about in parametric modeling, whether it's SolidWorks or a different CAD system. We always want to kind of start out with thinking about what is our game plan for this design. And in the case of this design here, you can see that they're maybe both taking a look at that, that lower view, and they're deciding, I'm gonna work with that lower view and kind of get what the cut profile of the shape might look like. And I'm gonna assume that they're both gonna be creating a center line and doing what's called a revolve feature to create that initial shape. So in the last example, what we saw was that they used what's called a boss extrude feature. They created what the profile looked like from one end and then kind of extruded it into 3D space. This time they're creating what the profile would look like if you were to slice a quadrant of the model, away, and then they're creating a center line and revolving it. We can see Victor just finished that revolve on the left screen. And now, just like we talked about in the last model, we can see that once you get that initial geometry in place, you're able to go through and you're able to create, additional sketches, 2D sketches. In this case, it's a 2D sketch of a rectangle that Victor's making, and then he's going to turn that into a 3D shape, but this time he's going to remove material instead of adding material. So in 3D CAD, we call that a cut extrude, and more importantly, what we're seeing here is that you kind of start out by creating one feature and then little by little create additional features. And it's a lot like maybe other programs you've seen like Blender, but instead of the geometry just being out in space or freeform, this is actually intentionally locked down to specific dimensions, because this shape that they're creating is gonna need to fit into some other shapes. It's gonna need to fit into some other parts in what's called an assembly. So it's very important to be able to add your dimensions and get this thing all locked down. And we see that Eric says, I'm getting the feeling that Victor is an appropriate name for him. Oh, nice pun. Wow. We'll see what happens. It's not over yet. And one little hang up can mean the whole entire match, can mean the whole entire tournament, really. It's an interesting feature that we can see Victor's working on there, and that you can kind of see in the lower left of the orange part on the overlay that, when you... Sometimes you get parts like this, intentionally or unintentionally, especially in in the thermoforming industry, where you have this weird scenario where the feature is actually kind of overhanging on the fillet, but it's not allowed to just overhang. It has to blend in. It can't just be hanging out there in space. And so we'll see how our competitors handle this. You can sort of see already how it's looking. But this is an interesting type of feature that I'm glad that we get to see in the tournament this time around. And we see in the chat, Victor has come in with a mass of 1214 grams, and that is correct. And that is going to give Victor the double win, and it's also going to give him the victory chat, and a GG to both Victor and to Tank. These guys were both amazing competitors, and I want to say thank you so much to both of them. But if you guys could, please give Victor a GG in the chat. He completely smoked that model. That guy is fast. Yes, Tank's in the chat. Tank says, wow, that dude is fast. Yes, that's exactly what I think a lot of us were thinking there, Tank. That is nuts. Victor, a well-earned victory. Incredible speed there. Very, very nicely done. Wow. That's there's some moves in there that I think a lot of people who are watching could probably learn from as far as how to be efficient when it comes to working in 3D CAD. So we see all the chat coming in. Great job to Victor for locking down that win. Congratulations, and a GG to both of our runners. I really appreciate both of you guys jumping in here and helping out with today's presentation, with today's matchup. This was awesome, and you guys are definitely great and definitely the stars of the show. So we'll leave the chat running in here. In fact, let me just make sure I got the chat here on my overlay. I have to set up for the next match, so let me just make sure that I have the chat here so you guys can continue chatting, and you can see my lovely mug. Yeah, amazing. GG to both of our runners. That was awesome. And okay, that's looking good. Okay, and let me just take this. And one of these, and one of these, and one of these, and one of these, and I think we're good. So as we can see here in the black bracket, that does give Victor the win. And whoops, hold on one second, guys. Sorry, I had one thing messed up there. Okay, there we go. Fixed. Try this again. So as we can see, that does give Victor the win here in the black bracket. He's going to move on, and he's going to be competing next on October 22nd. So congratulations to Victor for locking down that win. And I just want to say again, great job to everybody, to all of our competitors. Of course, it's awesome to have everybody in here. And wait, I think I might have just totally put myself in the wrong spot here. This is what happens when you have 15 different monitors. You end up looking all over the place and, you know, giving yourself whiplash as you're tennising through these these layouts. All right, let's try this one more time. I think we got it for real now. If you guys are impressed with everything that I'm doing here with juggling these different competitors and these different screens, be sure to like and subscribe. Maybe you're not impressed. Maybe you're just having a good laugh watching me like scramble like a madman and making sure that I'm clicking on the right buttons and everything along the way. So be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to share and reshare so everybody else can see my proficiency with all these buttons. Be sure to join the mailing list over at TooTallToby.com just in case I decide to change off of YouTube. If YouTube, you know, if I decide to maybe examine or explore other platforms that are out there, being on my mailing list will make sure that we can stay in touch. It's good to have more than one central hub here. Be sure to utilize Super Thanks and Super Chat if you want to support the channel, if you enjoy what you're seeing here in this tournament and appreciate the entertainment value you're getting out of this. Feel free to send me some value back in return, either through Super Thanks or Super Chat. It is very much appreciated. And with that, we are going to move on to our next matchup, and we're going to see here in just a moment that our next matchup is going to be oops, there we go. Our next matchup is going to be over here in the blue bracket. So if we go over here to the blue bracket, we can see that our next matchup is going to be between Maaz and Alnis. So let me make sure that we've got full connectivity to our friends Maaz and Alnis. Let's learn a little bit about them. Maaz is joining us from Pakistan. He started using SOLIDWORKS just this year, 2022, and he is a student of mechanical engineering. And Alnis uses Onshape, so we're going to get a chance to see a different CAD system here in Onshape, and also is a student at the University of Washington. So that is awesome. Welcome. And Alnis has been with us in previous tournaments as well. So this is really cool to see a returning person and also somebody who's using a different CAD system. And thank you so much, Victor, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Value for days. That's great to hear. I'm glad that you are enjoying these tournaments and enjoying this content. Very much appreciated. And if you guys have any questions about our competitors or for our competitors, feel free to put them in now. I'm going to be just making sure that we have the next challenge up and running here. Oh, this is a good one. This is one of my favorites, actually. So I'm excited to see how the competitors handle this one. But let us know if you guys have any questions. And Anti-Venom is saying, let's go Maaz. So we got somebody rooting for Maaz. We got somebody rooting for Alnis. So we got it all here at the TooTallToby 3D CAD speed modeling tournament and multi-screen, multi-button juggling event. Here we go, guys. This is your first challenge. So I'm going to flip over to full screen here. And as soon as I show this 2D print, this challenge will be live, and our competitors are going to grab the screen print, and they are going to attempt to turn it into a 3D CAD model. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. So here's your print. What is the mass of this part in xxx.x grams? Tolerance of plus or minus 0.1 grams. The material is 1060 alloy with a density of 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. So Maaz and Alnis are grabbing the screen print. And as soon as I see them working, I'm going to flip over and we're going to see their screens. And it looks like they are both working here. So let's flip over and take a look at what kind of a solution they come up with. And so we can see here that Alnis is using Onshape. And Onshape is a parametric modeler, kind of similar to SolidWorks, but it works entirely in a browser. And we can see that Maaz is using SolidWorks, the desktop SolidWorks. And maybe Maaz needs to see the print again. I'm not sure. So while Alnis is working on the... Let's see if he's able to start this without the print. If he's already screen captured it, I mean. Okay, so it looks like Maaz... I'm just going to put this up on the screen again just in case he needs to see it. So be sure to grab a screen capture of that. Maaz. And we're going to flip back over to Alnis here. And we got Brad in the chat coming in with some super chat. Thank you so much, Brad. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, awesome. Very, very much appreciated. Glad that you're getting some value out of this and having some fun with it. And thank you for competing as well. Thank you, Brad. There we go. So we got Maaz on the left. We got Alnis on the right. And a little concern there about the print, but I think we're all systems go here. And so we can see here that Alnis was able to do very similar stuff to what we do in SolidWorks with regards to putting together this model. You know, you have to think about what's going to be the starting plane, what's going to be the starting profile. And we can see that just like in SolidWorks, Onshape, you can get in there, you can create these features using dimensions to make sure that they are fully defined. You can get in here, you can assign a material property. That's what he did just a moment ago. And of course, you can then calculate the mass of that model. And so he was able to go through, he was able to create all of the different features, one feature at a time, kind of slowly build up that model one feature at a time. And it looks like he was able to come up with a mass here in the chat of 861.1. And that is the correct mass. And so this match is going to go to Alnis. So nicely done, Alnis. He is an Onshape pro. He is showing us some moves here in Onshape. I think it's really cool that you were able to get through and create that fully parametric model and then just kind of rip that fillet across the front. I really liked that feature. I know that not everybody was able to see that because of the overlay, but that was very nicely done, Alnis. And I'm going to make sure I get you some more screen time on this next one. So very nicely done. Very cool way of creating that model. If you guys want to give Alnis a GG in the chat, he does secure the win for that one. So nicely done. Nicely done. And GG to both of our competitors. Let's give a GG to Maaz as well, who got through there in SolidWorks and was able to get that model started using, again, a sketch on the front plane. It's all about kind of coming up with what the plan is for these models. When you first see that 2D print, you have to try to figure out how you're going to take that 2D print and turn it into a 3D model. Alrighty, let's give a GG to our good friends who are competing here today. And let's take a look at our next matchup. It's going to give Alnis one win, but it's not over yet. And it's going to be up to Maaz now to defend a little bit. And then we'll see who's able to come out of this thing with a victory. Alrighty, so let's learn a little bit more about our competitors. Maaz is a student of mechanical engineering, started SolidWorks in 2022, has 0 cats, but he would love to have one. Fair enough. And We can see here that Alnis uses Onshape on Linux, student University of Washington, on the Underwater ROV team. He's the CTO of the Underwater ROV team. That's pretty cool. He's the president of the Husky Satellite Lab. So this guy's sending satellites up into space. And also, then in his free time, beyond all of that, he also somehow finds time to play video games as well. So that is pretty epic. And let's get into it here and take a look at our... If you guys are out there in the chat and you play video games, let me know what your favorite video game is. I know what mine is, and I'll type it in the chat in case you guys are looking for a new game recommendation. But let me know what you guys think is your favorite game. You can put that into the chat. Nice. Hollow Knight. Yep, like it. All right. Yes, the names were incorrect. Thank you. I think I got them correct now. They were incorrect at the beginning there. Ian, appreciate it. Alnis says Portal 2. Yeah, that's a great one. You can play that one co-op, right? That's a great suggestion for a game as well. All right, well, I'm glad that we had this little talk here in the chat. Let's go on now and talk about this head-to-head matchup here. Table36 says, my favorite game is poker. Fair enough. All right, guys, we're going to go live here. If you guys want to close the current part, and we're gonna begin a new part here. We're going to show this challenge. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXXXG grams? And this part is called sliding plate. And this is a part that is made from 1060 aluminum alloy and has a mass of 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. And it looks like both of our competitors are moving into this new part. So I'm going to flip over to our CAD versus CAD heads up layout here. We got Maaz on the left. He's in love with SolidWorks. We got Alnis on the right. He's a certified Onshape professional. And once again, you know, like so many of the challenges, so many of the things we've talked about here, it's all about coming up with an initial plan. And in this case, we can see that Alnis, who's using a 3D CAD modeler that's entirely based in a web browser. He's running this thing on Linux. He's using what's called Onshape. If you haven't seen Onshape before, this is your chance. And that's Alnis on the right. And Maaz on the left is using a desktop 3D CAD program called SolidWorks. And we can see that on the right, Alnis is going through and coming up with the plan on how to create this thing by, in this case, creating it looks like from one end. So you look at the model and you have to decide to yourself, where am I going to start this thing? You know, what makes the most sense? What can I create that's going to not only be easy for me to visualize, but also is going to be, you know, something that I can draw and add all the required dimensions. And we also notice on the right that Alnis is just creating half of the model, not the entire model. And we can see that in creating half of the model, I guess he's maybe got a plan later on to mirror that model. And we got a super chat coming in from Andres. Thank you so much, Andres. Very much appreciate that. Love the sticker there, the thank you sticker. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. All of the super chat is very much appreciated and definitely helps keep the channel running and keep the tips and tricks coming. And keep the tournaments coming, right? We want to keep doing a lot of these tournaments. So this is definitely very cool stuff, exciting stuff. And so we can see here that this model has a what we would call a pattern in it, and it looks like Alnis is doing that at the sketch level, which is kind of interesting. I would probably prefer to maybe do that at the feature level myself, but he's the one who's the star today running this tournament. So, you know, we're going to see what he ends up doing with this. And it looks like he's got one single sketch there on the right, and he's using that one single sketch for multiple features. And that's something we can do in SolidWorks, and looks like it's something you can do in Onshape as well, which can really, you can see here, can really save you a lot of time. Like, look how quickly he was able to create that stepped region going around the outside just by having everything in that one sketch. And now it looks like on the right, Alnis is going through and adding in the material to that model and doing what's called a mass calculation or mass properties so that he can come up with what he believes is the mass of this part. And it looks like he has entered in a mass of 1119.88, and that is correct for the sliding plate. So that's going to give Alnis the victory as well. 2 wins in a row, and it's going to give him the victory cat as well. So congratulations to Alnis for getting both of those correct, and Alnis is going to move on in the tournament. And of course, GG to both of our runners today, to both Alnis and Maaz. Be sure to give them both a GG in the chat. Very nicely done to both of them, and thank you both so much for competing today. And let me just get this guy set up here. And here we go. Switch over to my webcam here while we're just doing some final touch-ups here on the PowerPoint. Wow, what an awesome set of matches. I gotta say, it's such a pleasure to be in this community and to be working with all of you. And GG to both runners. Maaz, thank you so much for signing up. Love seeing the representation from Pakistan, so thank you so much for signing up, and very, very nicely done. Thank you to Alnis, and congratulations on winning and moving on. Victor says, was playing along, and Alnis is faster than me. I've got work to do. So it looks like, you know, maybe these two guys are on a collision course for one another, right? We've got Victor here on the left. We've got Alnis on the Victor in the black bracket who just won. We've got Alnis over here in the blue bracket who just won. So maybe these guys are on a collision course. Maybe we're going to see them in the finals. Maybe we just saw a little preview of who we're going to see in the finals. Looks like Alnis actually posted the Onshape document link. So if you grab that document ID, you can look up that file if you wanted to see the actual file that he worked with on there. Jason says, if you need a cat, Maaz, he's got a few. So that's good to know. That's, you know, look at this community pulling together here. I love it. Great job to all 4 of our competitors today. Thank you all so much for joining us. You guys were awesome. Great matchups today. I really enjoyed watching the matchups today and commentating on them. And next week, like I said earlier, we've got another SolidWorks vs. SolidWorks matchup with Debris Field and Ricardo J. And then we've also got Yaya going up against Maval. And we're going to see Key Creator next week. So the evolution of CAD Key. I'm excited to see what that 3D CAD program looks like. And think that's pretty much going to bring us to the end. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe. Let other people know about this tournament. I'm going to go through and add in all the timestamps so people can quickly jump from match to match to match. If you enjoy what you're seeing here in the recording, be sure to send me some super thanks. If you enjoy what you see here in the live stream, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to add some comments down below, all the cool stuff that we can do to help the algorithm. And thank you all so much to you, the greatest chat ever. It's always amazing to hang out with you guys. I'm always so thankful to be hanging out with you guys, which makes me a little bit sad because I'm not going to be hanging out with you guys this Monday, September 5th. I'm going to be taking off for Model Monday Live. I'm going to be catching up on some other stuff that I have on my plate right now. But we will be back soon with Model Monday Live. We'll take a look at some of these tournament challenges, and we'll do some solved episodes of these tournament challenges. And thank you, JD52WTF. Glad that you are enjoying the content, and be sure to check out all the tips and tricks we have on the channel. Guys, I will see everybody next week for the next tournament. We're going through this round of 32, and before you know it, we're going to be in the round of 16, and then the round of 8, and then the finals and the semifinals on December 3rd, and I'm super excited to see who gets there. I'll see everybody next time. Bye-bye.